McLaughlin, who needs to get through those same lapped cars that Kirkwood did so efficiently a few laps ago. It's not proving very easy for him, and guess what that's doing? It's allowing Christian Lundgaard to catch up to the back. When we sit on board with him now, who's that ahead of us? That is Scott McLaughlin. This is the battle for second place.
And Lundgaard's just been devastatingly efficient today. No mistakes, executing passes, smart decisions. And again, he told us he was setting his car up for the last third of this race. It was right out of the gate. You can only imagine what little tweaks they've done in the pit stop, what adjustments he's made in the car, but that number 7 is absolutely rolling right now.
Townsend
gets more over Jackson, anybody around you.
Watch McLaughlin. He needs to get racy. He has to get racy because Lundgaard's coming forward. Puts the move on the Arrow McLaren and Pato O'Rourke. Smartest thing that Arrow McLaren can do now is tell Pato, get out of your teammate's way. We've got a podium on here.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't do it immediately right on that straight. Just pull over, let the 7 go. He's fighting for second place. Pato's now a lap down.
We're about 15 laps from the last stop for the leaders. James, let's talk about tires. McLaughlin, I think, can finish on soft. So can this guy. As Lundgaard clears his teammate, I think he has another set of sticker softs to finish. As the track gets more and more rubber laid into the surface, it helps the soft tire last longer. Advantage could go to McLaughlin and Lundgaard in the closing phase.
McLaughlin is starting to look very racy behind Louis Foster. Kevin, what can you tell us about Scott McLaughlin and his chances today?
As Townsend mentioned, he has softs to finish the race, so does Lundgaard. Kirkwood does not, so could be an advantage there. Lundgaard came in a couple of laps early. I think they're hoping to get to about 1:10, but that's going to be tight to make it on fuel the rest of the way. And then there's Scott McLaughlin. He's very much in the mix as he moves through traffic right now, getting around Louis Foster. Oh, Foster almost loses it on his hand. And said he's just trying to survive today.
Foster almost loses it sideways through the corner. That's allowed Lundgaard to get through, and Christian Lundgaard will say thank you very much as he heads on off to Scott McLaughlin.
I talked to Louis Foster just before the race today, and I said, how are you suffering right now? I know his hands hurt. He said, I'm suffering emotionally, physically. I don't feel well. I feel like I'm sick. I told him about last week. He's a winded guy hanging on here, just trying to make it to the finish.
So what just happened there, you see McLaughlin go by, puts him wide on the dirt as he gets on the power, massive slide, opens the door for Lundgaard to go by.
And what a brutal contrast it must be for Louis Foster. 1 week ago today, he was the man to beat on the streets of Ontario, and he is now,
Oh my goodness,
the man being beat all over the place.
hey, we talked about the Andretti's looking quick today. What about this guy? Will Power fighting through up and past the ECR and towards the back of O'Rourke. Power is coming, and guys, he needs to, because he's in fourth and he's chasing after Lundgaard and McLaughlin for that chance of finishing on the podium.
I was just going to say that. We talked about Lundgaard trying to get around McLaughlin for a second. Well, Power's coming after both of these guys. He's got a set of those soft tires on right now. We know how quick that car could be. And Trent Global just has such a strong setup at this type of circuit. He drove from last onto the podium with Markham. He's had a rough weekend, a few offs, a few rail taps. Georgia, it's been an up-and-down weekend for Will Power, but he's up right now.
Yeah, it sure has, and he told me earlier today before he jumped in the car they had an engine issue in warm-up, so he only got 3 laps. And that warm-up was going to be very important for them because he's been dealing with a lot of issues of locking up under braking in the rear of that car. So he's fighting through it today, but Will Power in both new street circuits this year, the streets of Arlington and the streets of Markham, has finished on the podium. Will Power is motivated to get there or get that win.
Andretti really coming on form on these brand new circuits. They've taken both wins. Power's finished third on both of them. In fact, Will Power has back-to-back podiums over the last 2 weekends for the first time in 2 years. Can he make it 3 for 3? And folks, don't count out Marcus Ericsson, last week's race winner. He's up in the top 7 and fighting and fast and trying to make his way to the front. This is looking like an Andretti day on the streets of Washington, D.C. But with 47 to go, that means we are running lap 100 here in Washington, D.C. Let's take a look at the race summary, sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. Carl Kirkwood, 86 laps led, the most today. Kevin Simpson, the biggest gainer with 18 positions made up. Then Lucas, of course, crashed out on lap 36. That turned the strategy on its head as Power makes up another position Sorry, that's putting another driver a lap down on Louis Foster. Still fourth, but gaining on Lundgaard.
Yeah, but Power now has that precious clean air to knock off quick lap times, and boy, has he been quick. The fastest lap turn to the race is by the 26 driver, a 58.6, so he should be coming quick to the back of Christian Lundgaard.
Carl Kirkwood through all of that, believe it or not, gang, he's extended his lead. It's now 11.6 seconds over Scott McLaughlin.
I mean, just look around us here, right? Like, this is surreal for all of us racing drivers. The history, going around the museums, the monument, the Capitol building, everything about this place is something that you dream of as a racing driver. 30 years from now, we're going to look back and be like, that was one of the coolest races that we've ever done.
Definitely one of the coolest days for all of these drivers. From the pomp and ceremony, the build up, it was on par with the Indy 500, and then this has been a very, very special 102 laps so far in the foothills of the Capitol building, with the monument there as well, and all the iconic buildings that we're running around. It's actually been, when it looked like it was going to bubble over, pretty tame so far. I had a message on X, I think from Prescott, I think it was, asking whether or not I could get the word shenanigans in. Yeah, Prescott Motorsport News. Well, I haven't had a chance yet, because it has been anything but from this man, Carl Kirkwood and Andretti Global. The gap eking out now 12 seconds. I don't know how much of that is the tyre deficit, new versus old, and also Carl Kirkwood's ability just to filter through that traffic. He's looked so strong, making amends for what was a huge mistake. Should have been his race last week. Once Louis Foster had finished up in the wall, Kirkwood did exactly the same thing. That opened the door for the likes of Romain Grosjean and Marcus Ericsson to duke it out in Markham. Here so far, he's led from the first corner. It's been the Carl Kirkwood show as we see the battle for ninth on your screen. Joseph Newgarden leading Nolan Siegel, under pressure from Nolan Siegel. Siegel driving for his IndyCar career. Where will he end up next year? He's not being retained by Arrow McLaren. They've got Kyle Collette behind. Brazilian rookie there. Will he end up in another seat next year? Let's wait and see. Just waiting for something to happen here at Washington DC. It's just gone a little bit flat. That's great for Carl Kirkwood, but Scott McLaughlin needs to find something. He's got another Chevrolet behind him, Christian Lundgaard. We didn't see much of Will Power. Started 12th, was invisible for the first sort of half of the race. He's coming on strong. He's got a fuel advantage in fourth place. If he can close the gap to Lundgaard, he'll have some push to pass there to Byrne as well. What will we see for the remaining 40 so laps? Will it be Kirkwood at the end?
Sure that this will be front and centre of our show tomorrow as Marcus Ericsson gets past Felix Rosenquist, and that is for 6th place. We said he had some pace, we said don't write him off, 42 to go, and Ericsson makes up another place. Plus 15 from the start, one of the biggest movers of the race today, Kiffin Simpson. I mean, what a job from him. Up 18 places from where he started. He sits in 5th. So the order with 42 to go is Kyle Kirkwood leading by, oh my goodness, I haven't seen this. He's absolutely monstering away from Scott Momentum. Almost 14 seconds the gap now, but Christian Lundgaard is all over the back of the Penske driver. That battle for third and second is on. Then Will Power fourth, Kevin Simpson fifth, and Ericsson is putting his foot down in sixth and trying to catch up to his teammates. It's not out of the woods yet that we can have an Andretti 1-2-3 in this race.
Boy, they look so strong right now, and the way Kirkwood is just laying the smackdown on the rest of the field on this hard compound tire late in the stint is truly impressive. 41 laps to go. That means look for the final stop right at around lap 35 to go. We'll have the same scenario as the last round of pit stops, where Kirkwood and his team will have to judge how much risk you want to take in the danger zone. Once one of the leaders in the top five, say, makes their first stop, it'll challenge Kirkwood and his team to make that decision. Do we cover right away, or do we hang on so we know we can run full rich on fuel to the end?
Felix Rosenquist there running in seventh, having a strong run, up from 10th.
But let's take a look at the moment of the race, sponsored by Pennzoil, and these are the times that try men's souls. Nothing that Below could do about that second moment. The error on pit lane, the first was all his own. The drive-through penalty on a day that started so promisingly from pole, rapidly unraveling.
Fastest in qualifying, he has the fastest race lap now, does Alex Palou, dominating in the championship, James. It was all laid out for a breezy, easy day, and it went south twice on pit lane.
And it's interesting because, oh, he's already taken, sorry, I knew he got that word that he's going to have to pit one more time than his competitors in front. He's done that. He hit on lap 91.
And if I was Barry Wanzer, I would think long and hard about being the first to gamble and make the last stop and roll the dice on a caution. You're running 16th right now. The upside is way greater than the downside, so maybe with 37 to go, Barry Wanzer calls in Palou and takes a little bit of a chance.
Guys, I've never sat behind the wheel of a race car, anything like one of these NTT Indy cars.
And that's a good thing.
It is a very good thing. I'd never get the insurance. You guys you've raced on the streets. We're 108 laps into this race. Take us into the cockpit, take us into that seat. How are you feeling? How is your mental and your physical acuity at this
It
moment?
depends on who you are in your situation. If you're Kyle Kirkwood, you are feeling pretty darn good with a beautiful capital in the background and America's 250th birthday. As an American driver, you're saying, man, just focus, hit your marks, hang in there. If you're a driver that's been hanging on and struggling all day, maybe somebody like, I don't know, how about Romain Grosjean? You've had some contact and some racing. As Ericsson now clears Kevin Simpson for fifth. Then your arms are tightening up, James. Your forearms are starting to get tight. You're feeling dehydrated. You are feeling the heat and the brutality of this track.
But guys, one of the drivers I've always said is, if I call him a fourth quarter driver, he's so strong at the end of a race. A long, tough one is this guy right here, Marcus Ericsson, as he gets into the top five, Kev.
And I've been watching him for a little while, and I think Andretti has a chance to sweep the podium because Marcus Ericsson is also one of those that can finish on the new soft, faster tire. The Andrettis are really quick. The Chevys don't seem to be getting quite as good a fuel mileage as the Hondas, so they are very much in play.
And folks, when we talk about the difference for teams, who's running a Honda, who's running a Chevy, Kirkwood, Power and Ericsson, the three Andretti drivers, they're running Hondas. They'll get good fuel mileage. McLaughlin and Lundgaard second and third. They're running Chevrolet Power. They don't tend to get quite as good fuel mileage. They could be under pressure in the final laps of the race as they were 1 week ago in Markham. 38 to go, guys. I've got a feeling this one isn't over. Not by a long stretch. As here comes Power hunting down Lundgaard, and this is for a podium place. Will Power, one of the fastest fastest driver, if not the fastest driver in the history of IndyCar. 71 poles to his name. That is the metric of just how quick he has been consistently over his career.
We are right on the leading edge of final pit stops. So for Will Power here, you start thinking, okay, am I better off to duck in and try to beat him on pit lane, or do I hang out in his dirty air and try to seize an opportunity? Power knows not just Lundgaard ahead, but Scott McLaughlin for second place, just another second up the road.
Guys, Ericsson has jumped into the pit lane. He is going to be the first one to take that bite and put everyone in front of him on call.
That's it. That's the moment. That's the mark.
And I like it because you're splitting your strategies. You've got Kirkwood out there leading. You've got Power in the mix. Full tank of fuel. He's going to need a full tank. He's going to need to save a bit. It's going to be the opposite of what he did last week in Market when he had the fuel and could push 10 tenths. And now his teammate George is in the pits.
Kirkwood for his last stop of the day. This one's going to mean everything for him. He was over 15 seconds ahead of the field before this, and it's going to be a pair of Firestone hard tires. They're going to fill it up with fuel the last of the end.
Big exhale if you're the strategist, Brian Herta. A smart move to... You've got the fastest car in the track, don't risk it.
And there's his teammate Will Power. Look ahead of him. That's Lundgaard. The red, white and blue of Scott McLaughlin is just ahead of them both. These drivers at the moment are running first, second and third on track because Kirkwood has pitted from the lead.
Hey, where the hell did Will come from? He just had open air and was able to close to you guys.
That is the voice of Christian Lundgaard. Great question from Christian. But Will told me earlier this weekend that one of the problems that Andretti had at the start of the season was with the speed of their pit stops. He now has total faith that that has been eradicated. They were one of the fastest in Markham as he rose from the back of the field to the podium places. Power is primed and ready.
Guys, the other thing to remember, this is when you're going to see a caution, if we're going to see it during this pit cycle, cars coming out. Going to see a replay.
I understand Marcus Ericsson might have held up the 10 car on the blend. I don't see anything that looks particularly unusual, not gentlemanly, but this is car racing. Ericsson has every right to blend out. He tripped the meter at the end of pit lane as per the rules, and they were side by side. In fact, he left below room.
And they're fighting for position. I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, nothing there. But what I was saying about this phase of the race, drivers are starting to get tired. If you're still hanging on there, you're on really worn tires. And guys, we have passed the 2-hour mark. These drivers have been going racing. They've been green flagged for more than 2 hours. With 30 minutes to go, roughly a minute a lap, we still have over 30 minutes left in this race. This is going to be a mental test as much as anything, Townsend, because when you go
caution! And this changes everything!
It's Grosjean wide. Is he the caution?
Oh my goodness, Lundgaard jumped in.
It was local yellow.
Local yellow.
No right course caution. It was just a local yellow.
That was just for Grosjean going wide. Now he's side by side with Power. But this is going to hurt Will Power on this exchange. Lundgaard is probably going to be able to pull off a nice undercut here, maybe get a gap on Will Power.
That's what you always talk about, though, Town. The danger zone. Had that gone full course yellow, that would have turned everything on its head. Power, though, if he'd had a clean lap, this could have been the difference for him. In terms of making up positions, he's stuck behind a slower car of Grosjean.
And I hate this. We saw it a few weeks ago in Portland. You're a lap down. It's the last stint of the race. The leader, one of the leaders is behind you fighting for the win. You've just been off the racetrack. Get out of the way.
Yeah, I agree. And why aren't we seeing the blue flags coming from the flag stations?
Because he's not a lap down to the whole field.
He's not a lap down to the whole field, but we have seen information flags in parts of this race.
Oh, he knows.
Not a command.
He knows. He doesn't need to see the blue flag. He knows exactly who's behind him.
Is there any history between these two? Scott McLaughlin.
Power doesn't pit. He doesn't pit. He wants to stay out and put down the fast laps. Kevin, McLaughlin's coming to you.
And who is really going to be racing is Christian Lundgaard because Kyle Kirkwood is checking out, but it is a set of softs for McLaughlin. Chevy, though, may have to save a little bit to get home from here. A little bit longer this time. They had to get it as full as possible to show fuel.
And I will just want to throw out that Grosjean did move over, so he finally got the right thing. But here's the blend, guys.
McLaughlin's out ahead of Lundgaard, but Lundgaard's tyres will be up to temperature. He'll have the grip, he'll have the pace, but he runs a little deep into turn one, and that will do him no favours at all.
That was a huge mistake from Christian Lundgaard. He had a great opportunity to close and pounce. He allows McLaughlin some space with that mistake, and now McLaughlin fired the tire temperature very quickly.
Will Power rounds the first corner. Does he duck into pit lane, or can he stay out on the track and trying to recoup some of the time lost? He's staying out. He's staying out, and his last lap time was a 59.123. 3 seconds faster than his last lap. Everybody around him is circulating in the 1 minute or higher. If Power can stay out for a couple more laps, it could make the difference.
As he has gas.
I think that radio call we heard was that from the 26th pit this lap, he's got these 3 lap cars in front of him now. Whether it's a gas situation or a traffic situation, I think coming in now with 32 to go is going to be 31 to go when he crosses the line.
He's so fast, he's going to catch the traffic anyways. Will Power past the pit right now.
Use some overtake on the way in if you can.
So you know what the gap is. It's roughly 28 seconds. Time lost on pit, so that's going to put him somewhere just behind Christian Lundgaard, where he was before.
At this time, you're going to have a clear in.
See how quickly he caught that group. Between Grosjean and this whole sequence has cost Power a couple of seconds for sure.
Georgia, Power's coming in.
No one around them. Clear in and clear out for Will Power, the 15-time street course winner. The thing about Will Power, he has a fresh set of fire, so soft tires on it. He's down.
It's a nice stop.
Really sharp stop there from Drago, 7.4 seconds.
So we'll be watching the left side of the screen for Christian Lundgaard, but first it'll be Scott McLaughlin, the blue and white car just about to enter the frame.
There he is. Power will floor it. McLaughlin gets through. Lundgaard gets through. They're side by side with McLaughlin is passed, so it's as you were, first, second, third, and fourth.
And all Will Power can do is say thank you, Romain Grosjean, in a sarcastic way, because I think that's the difference. Being caught behind the lap traffic, James, put him behind these two.
But you heard them say from pit lane, from when those two drivers pit, I'm talking McLaughlin and Lundgaard, powered by Chevy, they were going to have to save a little bit of fuel. The Honda seem to be making better fuel mileage. Power pit 2 laps longer than McLaughlin, 3 laps longer than Lundgaard. He's going to have no issues with fuel mileage at all. And then, as always, keep an eye on the push to pass. 67 seconds. He's got more of his power than both Lundgaard and McLaughlin in front.
Yeah, definitely not over right now for that final podium position, maybe even second place. Meanwhile, Kirkwood just cruising with an about 11-second lead.
When you say cruising, that has a very different definition to I think what people at home might think of as cruising. He's still circulating this track under 1 minute for this 1.7-mile circuit. Townsend with 30 seconds to go. Can he afford to cruise, to take his foot off the gas a little bit, given that 10-second lead, or is it maximum push?
Well, this is an age-old debate with racing drivers. When you're super locked in and pushing very hard, you're hitting your marks, you are hyper-focused. If you take the edge off a little bit, James, sometimes that's where the mistakes come. If you go back a week ago to Markham, Kyle Kirkwood was super fast there. Made a big mistake, lost focus for a second, flipped the inside wall with his left right. Watch what happened.
Just if you lose that concentration for a fraction of a second at a street course, like here in DC, like last week in Markham, the consequences can be absolutely devastating. He was in a position to be on a podium run there with how it's running right now. Imagine he had a podium's worth of podium's worth of points coming into this weekend extra.
And he's coming up behind other cars. That's Hauger and that's Louis Foster.
Now, different than Romain Grosjean, Hauger is on the lead lap. He's going to fight a little bit harder. Kirkwood at the inside, Hauger leaves him room.
Oh, what? It's the clinical efficiency that Kirkwood has executed these moves with today. So impressive.
It's like I said, they've never been out of control.
Let's take a moment, folks, to take a look at the Power Performance sponsored by Harbour Freight. And that Power Performance belongs to this guy. Kyle Kirkwood, his fastest lap of 58.5. He's pulled off 12 on-track passes and has led 100 laps so far today. The king of the streets is back in his throne and absolutely reveling in the majesty majesty of this incredible city and this one-off race. And as Kirkwood leads by a reduced gap, we should say, of 8 seconds, and the gap is starting to come down because of that traffic he found himself in. Jamie, I don't know where you are, but apparently you found a gaggle of Kirkwood fans.
Yes, I have. We're in the middle of the National Mall. This is the fan zone. Fans are a little fired up. You guys having fun? How about this? Is your man Kyle Kirkwood going to pull it off?
Oh, absolutely. Let's go.
Fans are pumped. Look at the backdrop. They are having a great time. First time ever a race in DC. There's games for the families, big screens, all the merchandise of the drivers, Washington Monument. You've got it all here. These fans are thoroughly enjoying their first Freedom 250, guys.
Oh, Jamie, that's so great. You know what? We've been meeting people all the way through the weekend, from long-term fans who've been watching IndyCar for years, who have come to experience this one-off race, to people who have been watching and are attending their first ever race. I've met some fans earlier this weekend who said they don't normally watch racing, it's not normally their bag, but they thought, hey, this looks pretty cool, so they've come down. This is their first experience of racing, full stop.
What first experience it is.
Incredible.
You sort of get spoiled coming to an event like this as your first one. But hopefully what you see, what you feel, what you smell, the visceral experience of coming to an IndyCar race makes you a fan for life. I know that's how it happened for me. T-Guy, I know it's what happened to you at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as a 10-year-old boy.
Well, not just Indy, but also the streets of Long Beach in Southern California. The noise, the power, the courage of the drivers. It was magnetic, and it drew me uncontrollably closer to this great sport. And for this event to happen here in DC, perfect weather, perfect turnout, and American pride and performance on display.
Guys, I think back to the start of the year, and I think about Arlington, Texas, that first race we had on the streets there in Dallas. And they're having a watch party in Dallas today. That's Cosm in Dallas, where they're having a Freedom 250 watch party. The Cosm experience makes it feel like you're actually at the race, giving fans amazing views and a completely immersive experience. I mean, nothing beats being at the race itself, but Cosm is about as close as you can possibly get without actually being here.
What a cool concept to have that. I have some. Oh, we got a yellow.
We got a yellow, a full course
It's
yellow.
Palou.
Oh my goodness, it's the championship leader, Palou. And we talk about the mistakes that he has made, or that the team has made today. We don't often see multiple mistakes in an entire season. We've seen 3 in one afternoon.
So let's see, this is going into turn 3.
Oh,
Did he clip it?
I think the right rear did. I don't think the right front got it. I
Wow.
think he got it with the right rear. But wait a second, the left rear was already damaged.
He hit something, he was bouncing around.
Oh yeah, the left rear was already broken. Maybe that was from turn 2.
Cassidy Tower is down there at Andretti. Can't believe what she's seeing. I don't think we can believe what we're seeing. This is the most un-Alex Palou race that I think I've ever seen.
This is a total disaster of a day for the 10 car. Dragging wings and coming back to hope for repairs. We'll be back soon to DC.
Well, it's human. It's Alex Palou, and it's Alex Palou doing, well, unlike Alex Palou things. It looks as though he clipped it with the right front. The right front there did look broken in terms of the wishbone, so I think it was the right front there. You can see it's the left front that was hit, so it wasn't. That was the secondary impact, so the right front is actually almost intact. So what has gone on there? But either way, he's really struggling to get that number 10 machine back, grabbing all over the place. Front wing stuck underneath the front of the car. Real damage to the left front corner. So if Carl Kirkwood finishes, he's going to get about 50 points. I don't say about, he is going to get 50 points. You get points all the way down to 25th here. You get 5 points for 25th. Well, Alex Palou came here with a really commanding lead. He's not going to lead with that 163-point lead he needed to become champion. That is for sure. It has been a horror show for Alex Palou and the 10 crew. And I think we can give him that because he's had such a strong run of it so far this season. Alex Palou, you run out of superlatives for him.
We need to stay ahead of that.
His high standards. This has been a very, very difficult day in the office. He switched the engine off. He will be classified. He will get points. They're trying to fix it. But what happened there to Alex Palou and the AI machine under full course yellow here doesn't matter too much because the final pit stops had happened. But what it does mean is, of course, that gap between Kirkwood and McLaughlin, Lundgaard, Power, Ericsson and Rosenqvist, when it closes right up, 23 to go, we're going to have an epic finale.
Two brand new races, 2 Andretti wins. Will they make it 3 for 3? Make this man who is so proud to be an American citizen proud once again to have his team that carries his name on the top step of the podium at another new race. Arlington and Markham, Andretti the winners. Be something very fitting about an American driver carrying the name of a driver who is definitely one of the all-time great American drivers to victory here in Washington, D.C. But guys, this is the reality of the full course yellow. All that work, all that brilliant driving from Kyle Kirkwood to build up that 10-second lead, it's done. That lead is gone. And he, on the hard tyre, the more durable but slower tyre, now faces McLaughlin, Lundgaard, Power and Ericsson behind him, who are all on the soft, faster tyre for the remainder of this race with 22 laps to go as we sit on the stage.
It's an interesting situation. It's the last thing that Kyle Kirkwood wanted to see with that nice healthy gap, but we know the car's quick. He's really just got to survive that first lap. It shouldn't be too long of a caution because it wasn't a huge cleanup. The shorter the caution, the less tire temperature you lose, the less of a difference there's going to be between the hards and the softs on that first flying lap. But ultimately, he still gets to dictate the pace on the restart. He still has clean air going into that first big brake zone in turn 2. If he can keep that cool and calm, he's been the man all day. He can probably still pull this off.
Well, I don't expect cool and calm behavior from Kyle Kirkwood's teammates, Will Power and Marcus Ericsson. Last week in Markham, Canada, those two were going at it. It was Ericsson bouncing Will Power out of the way, but now Will Power, with the most push-to-pass seconds remaining in the top 5. Power with 67, Ericsson just 27. The car in front, Lundgaard, 55 seconds remaining. Advantage, Will Power with the extra power to close out.
You see drivers coming down pit lane. That's because we're within 25 laps of the end of the race. So all cars who have been lapped are coming down pit lane to reposition themselves at the rear of the field. That means when we go back to racing, there'll be nobody that's out of position between McLaughlin and Kirkwood ahead. It will be a clean run in order, exactly in order to take us back to green.
It's going to be a straight fight, guys. You said it earlier, well, cautions breed cautions. We saw how aggressive some of the drivers are willing to be early in this race with 21 to go and it all on the line. There's nothing to lose, no point to hold back at this point.
Well, and I tell you what, guys, only one driver has pitted out of that lead group. He's obviously at the back of that lead group right now. Graham Rahal sits on a set of soft tyres with plenty of fuel and very, very fresh tyres. Keep an eye on him when we go back to green. He will have the bit firmly between his teeth.
The American has 79 seconds to push to pass as we're reminded of the National Gallery of Art there in the National Mall. This camera out the very top of the Washington Monument. One of the coolest views you could possibly have as a camera guy or gal, and we have some great ones, and we need to thank them, our fellow Americans, for incredible work this week. We are in a stretch of race after race after race. This was a big lift for everybody, And to our Fox Sports team, well done on these beautiful images we're seeing today. This city has never looked better.
To everybody behind the scenes at Fox Sports, but to everybody who has put this race on here this weekend, the security teams, the police, who have kept us safe all the way through, to everybody who goes around, has put up the fences, has painted the walls, checks us in the mornings. There is a huge team behind the scenes that has put this race on.
And to the 100,000 people that showed up to watch it in person, and they're getting treated, guys, to a great race and a great finish. It's now going to be a 20-lap shootout to the end as Kirkwood brings him on to the start straight for the restart.
We love the sound of that. Kirkwood did have a 10-second gap. That gap is nothing. He floors it, slides it out the final corner on the run down to turn one. McLaughlin looking racy. Looking at the inside. McLaughlin, oh, and he's in the wall!
Big contact for Scott McLaughlin. He still drives under his car.
Rosenquist spins!
Caution.
Full course yellow, but who had gone where before it came out? Kirkwood leads, Lundgaard second, Power is third, Ericsson is fourth, McLaughlin is out. Big send at turn one and straight into the wall.
He knew how quick Kyle Kirkwood was. He knew his advantage was early on that restart.
And he thought that was the time and the opportunity, but James, as you see his tires, as McLaughlin skids to a stop, you remember how dirty this racetrack is after 120 laps offline. Just way too much. Look at all of the stuff here that he's collected offline. Some of that would have been to the inside as he lunged on Kirkwood.
So let's take a look now at the restart. Kirkwood goes to defend a little bit, then cuts back. And it's a last-minute decision from McLaughlin. Just cannot get it slowed up. And Kirkwood did a good job to not get collected by the car bouncing back off the tires.
Not just into the wall, into that tire barrier at speed. Rear right done, front right done.
Oh, McLaughlin would like to have that one back.
Everybody just wanted to win this race, and this was his chance. Even Kirkwood, you saw, was locked up going in on the harder tire. And this is what happened to Rosenquist behind the melee up front.
Oh, he just spotted on his own.
Wow.
Goodness me.
That unexpected, just got on the power.
I think his car's going to be okay, though. It was a perfectly square hit. Unfortunately, he's just past pit in, but when he does come in, he should be able to replace the nose. On board is Lundgaard.
Lundgaard thinking he was going to get a shot at the lead here had the yellow not come out. Before they got down, you see the yellow's already out there.
Kirkwood's thinking, you know what, I really prefer a 10-second lead over a restart here. As McLaughlin just sends it.
The first two drivers in the running order now are Kyle Kirkwood and Christian Lundgaard. They will be second and third in the championship standings, with David Malukas out and Alex Palou having a nightmare afternoon. But which of them will take the win? We don't know. 18 to go, don't go anywhere. This one's far from over.
Well, full win it or bin it there from Scott McLaughlin. 10 out of 10 for trying it. Certainly kept us on the edge of our seats, but you saw Kirkwood was locked up where he was braking, never mind Scott McLaughlin, and he was nowhere near making that corner, but he had to try it. Tried, he did, and Carl Kirkwood lives to fight another day. But for Carl Kirkwood, he's now got a Chevrolet again behind him. This time is Christian Lundgaard. Lundgaard also has the tyre advantage, because don't forget, the Fox team spot on with what they were saying. Lundgaard, Power, Ericsson, all on sticker reds. Carl Kirkwood, I was umming and ahhing earlier on in the race as to what Kirkwood would run at the end. He's on the black, and it's a sticker set, but trying to keep temperature in the tyres and trying to get up to speed on that harder compound is going to be a challenge. Scott McLaughlin thought that all his Christmases had come at once when he saw the door open down to turn one, but he just could not get the car slowed down. And Carl Kirkwood, well, Christian Lundgaard's a wily fox behind him, and he's aggressive. He's as aggressive as Scott McLaughlin, but he won't make the same mistake as Scott McLaughlin, having seen him do what he's just done. What is Christian Lundgaard plotting in the papaya? He'll be desperate to win this race. So will Carl Kirkwood. Will we see an American winner here? Freedom 250 here in Washington, D.C., or will it be Christian Lundgaard, Power, Ericsson? They're queuing up behind. 16 to go. Cautions breed cautions. And there is Scott McLaughlin. I don't think he would have made 2 corners if there'd have been another one after that. He was going way too quickly, but he wanted to get it done. But he couldn't seal the deal. Scott McLaughlin hasn't won on anything but an oval since the beginning of 2024. His last win was 2024. He wants to get that Thirsty Threes machine into victory lane, but today is not going to be the day. And this has come alive at the end here in Washington, D.C. One and done here for the Freedom 250. There will only ever be one Freedom 250. We might come back to Washington, but it won't be the Freedom 250.
Just a reminder of that restart. If we can get a little bit into fast like 12, just to cool the foot up again before we take off again, might help a little bit on the restart. Up to you, though.
To add to Carl Kirkwood's woes, both Christian Lundgaard and Will Power have more push to pass than him. Carl Kirkwood has 34 seconds, Christian Lundgaard 49, Will Power 85. As I said earlier, Will Power has more fuel and more push to pass. We know that the Honda is stronger than the Chevrolet as this stint goes on, but there's been enough, I think, in terms of yellow running for the Chevrolet to be home and dry in terms of too much of a fuel save. So this will be a dash to the flag, 15 to go. Can Carl Kirkwood hold off Christian Lundgaard? Can Will Power do anything about the front 2 ahead of him? Or will last weekend's winner, Marcus Ericsson, get amongst it? I said it had gone a bit flat. It's come alive here in Washington. The sun's come back out too. 1 to go. The pace car is going to be in this lap. How does Carl Kirkwood feel? The adrenaline will be pumping. The fatigue will have set in. All the drivers will be feeling it now. Kirkwood right up behind the back of that pace car, desperately trying to get some heat in the tyres. Christian Lundgaard looking menacing in the papaya. Kirkwood will be aware of who's behind him. Now they earn their money. Who's going to handle the pressure? Who's going to put their name in lights? Who's going to win here in Washington? Field backed up. Kirkwood. It is who leads Christian Lundgaard. He's gone early. Lundgaard caught napping a little bit. Kirkwood's got that gap. But don't forget, he's got a performance deficit. That black sidewall tyre will not be as quick in this opening lap or 2, and Christian Lundgaard just too far back to do anything about it. Kirkwood's gone. If anything, it's Power who's closer to Christian Lundgaard, and Kiffin Simpson and Nolan Siegel just behind Marcus Ericsson. Simpson, I think, going defensive, trying to hold off Nolan Siegel. It's line astern, all being very well behaved with 13 to go here in Washington. So Kirkwood lives to fight another day.
Reaching down on an oval as his teammate Pato on board at Aaron McLaren gets past Marcus Armstrong. But up at the front, Kip and Simpson, fifth place right now, Jack, and staring potentially at a podium if he can muscle his way through.
I have been so impressed with Kiffin and the whole A team. Let's just break their strategy down just really quickly. They pit early, getting open track, trying to win qualifying laps. That's how they even catapulted themselves to the front. Then we see the yellows. They completely pivoted, asked their driver to start saving fuel. Now he is running a confident top 5. It's so impressive when you see a driver and a team make those audibles on the fly. Credit where it's due, they've done brilliant so far today.
They have indeed, but listen guys, credit where it's due. In a lap, Kyle Kirkwood has pulled out a second and a half on Christian Lundgaard and Dixon and Newgarden, 2 champions of this series, run wheel to wheel, and Dixon gets past the American. Now, Kyle Collette, the rookie sensation, having a look at the 2-time champion.
And Newgarden seemingly struggled to get up to speed here on this restart. Nice clean move from Scott Dixon. But up ahead, it's all about Kyle Kirkwood.
Well, we saw him bring out the full course yellow, full send into turn 1. It didn't pay off for Scott McLaughlin. Disappointing end to the day, and he's down with Jack.
It is a disappointing day for Scott McLaughlin. Scotty, did you just feel like that was the opportunity in the moment to try and go for the win?
Yeah, my tires were pretty solid on the warm-up lap, but I was like, you know, I'm gonna have a crack here. And this judge telling loose it was down the inside there, and yeah, look, it was one of the chances. Kyle's been quick all week, and I just wanted to try and get some track position, and yeah, just yeah, basically just lost it, locked the rears, and actually win. So yeah, it sucks for my PPG Chevy team. I thought we did a really good job all day, and yeah, feel for them, but yeah, I went through and sometimes that's what happens.
Well, sorry about your day, Scotty. Best of luck next weekend.
And who can blame him when you look at the lead that Kirkwood's been able to pull on Lundgaard in just 1 lap? He had to go for that moment when he saw it presented to him.
That's what I was saying. I mean, it was kind of the shot. Kyle didn't get the cleanest run off the last corner. Scott had the softer tires. Like you said, just he misjudged it a little bit. He didn't need to go quite that deep. He had, you know, he had himself alongside of Kirkwood, but it's so easy to say from sitting here. It's a tough one to judge. It's happened to all of us.
100%. It looks good until it doesn't.
Right.
By the time you realize there's no chance, it looks embarrassingly bad on the other side. But McLaughlin telling it like it is. Hey, I decided I'm having a crack. If you have a crack, you better be ready for getting a crack back. That's kind of how this game works when you're firing up the inside there on a restart. Meanwhile, Kyle Kirkwood, like you said, Will, just continues to open the gap.
Wow. Lundgaard's actually starting to cut it back. Just by a couple of tenths on that lap from 1.5 down to 1.2. Let's never say never when it comes to Christian Lundgaard.
I think Lundgaard has burned maybe a little bit of push to pass. No, maybe not yet. I wonder if Kyle Kirkwood is thinking to himself, hey, I don't need to overdrive things right now. I don't need to win by 10 seconds. I just need to win. Why not save your tires? You don't need to go burn your Firestones up and risk a caution at the end and another restart.
For those looking at the championship picture, know this, Alex Palou is back in the race. He's running 20th, 3 laps down. Doesn't at least mean that he's in the race, will score points, could make up positions if anybody else retires in the next 9 laps, and every point in the championship counts.
And it's already worked. He will have made up the position on Scott McLaughlin. Had they not gone back out, that's one position they wouldn't have gained. It's only 1 point difference, but we've seen them come down to less than that.
Exactly that. Exactly that. As things stand right now, if this race was to finish in the order it is now, Alex Palou's championship lead, we came in here and he had a 133-point lead. It will be slashed by 42 points to 91.
Well, I'm starting to buy into what you were just telling me a minute ago. Christian Lundgaard is really starting to close. I don't think Kirkwood is saving tires here, James. I think Christian Lundgaard is doing exactly what he told us earlier today. This morning he looked both of us in the eye and he said, I'm setting my car up to finish strong. I don't care about the first 90% of this race. I want to be a rocket ship at the end. He's on the soft tire, and he looks rocket ship fast right now. That gap right at his second.
And it's such a different mindset for the driver leading in this scenario as Kirkwood or the driver chasing as Lundgaard. When you're Kyle up front, you just know you can't make any mistake. You're starting to leave a little bit more of that margin. Had it stayed green, he was in the zone. Now he's got to get himself back into that sort of comfort zone. But with Lundgaard, he knows he's got to push 10 tenths with absolutely nothing on the table if he's going to catch him. Two different mindsets. You can see it on the stopwatch.
Kirkwood responds. Fastest driver on that last lap, 58.8. Lundgaard a tenth of a second slower. The gap extends back towards 1.5 seconds. Once again, the ebb and the flow of this race with 7 to go.
It looked like Lundgaard maybe mounted a challenge, started to get close, but maybe overheated his tires a little bit. As we look at push to pass remaining, you'll see Kirkwood 32, Lundgaard with 34, but Will Power very tight on his budget today, still 59 seconds remaining. Can Power claw back the gap and start to mix things up? Gonna be tough.
The gap's just too big. I mean, it took him too long to get up to speed. He's running the same lap times as the two drivers in front of him, but it's a 5-second gap.
Well, I think Lundgaard might have just put the wall in turn 7.
We were saying you got to go 10 tenths.
Sharp intake of breath from Townsend and myself as we looked out of the window. Possibly saw a little bit of paint.
Everybody, 6 to go here.
Definitely a bit of dust flick off the side of that wall. 6 to go. And Kyle Kirkwood has started to lay down that hammer. The gap that was a second, it's now 2.
Yeah, it was half a second on that lap. It takes a couple laps to get back into the groove and not push too much when you're the leader. You're the first driver going into all these corners on a restart lap, but Kyle Kirkwood now has found that groove. Tires are up to temperature, brakes are up to temperature, and he is back in that zone, almost untouchable as we look back.
This is me and Will right here looking at Christian Lundgaard, and he is trying everything back there right now. Tremendous grip, fighting all the way to the end. But let's talk about grit for a second with Kyle Kirkwood as he goes 5 to go. I mean, the story of this country, James, is one of high grit, high determination, rolling up your sleeves. Kyle Kirkwood got to Indycar by doing just that. At every level of the junior series, he had to win or he would not advance. He wouldn't have the money to advance his career. He was a multi-time go-kart champion. He had to win in Formula 4. Then he got to F2000, Indy Pro, and then finally Indy Lights, the final stop. He won at every single level. He is the epitome of the American dream, going after it in the biggest of ways and seizing opportunity at every single step. What a celebration it'll be if he can close things out today.
And picked up early in his career by the Andretti Global Group, an American dynasty racing family, racing organization. He ran for them in the Indy Next series, the Indy Lights series, the predecessor to what is now Indy Next, where he won that championship, like you said. They farmed him out to the AJ Foyt racing team for his first season, his rookie season, as they didn't have an opening on the main squad. Quickly made that opening, got him in to this team, and it has been nothing but an upward trajectory since he joined. 6 career wins, 5 of them on street courses, looking to add to that tally. And Andretti Global looking to take victory all 3 of the new temporary circuits on the calendar this year.
Well, as we take these final few laps in this race, I know how energized you were when you showed up this morning. Where we've been this week, what we've seen, that the doors have been wide open to everybody here in DC to enjoy great American racing. You certainly appear to have had a great time.
I'm completely in love with this city, which makes me even more in love with this country, to be here surrounded by its history, in the shadow of these buildings that have shaped this land. Everything this place represents, what an honor to be here, surrounded by my friends, making new friends in a country that's taken me to its heart, and that I absolutely adore, as it has for so many of us who come here, chasing that American dream, given the belief that, like Kyle, if you work hard enough, you dare to dream, nothing's impossible.
On the pace lap size, the drivers were going around waving to the fans, but there was still a long 147 lap race in front of them. when this checkered flag falls on what could be the only race around the Capitol here in D.C. I hope every driver takes a second to look up, look out, and take in the scenes like this here. One of the most beautiful settings we've ever seen for an IndyCar race. You'll have that cool down lap to really soak it in. And if you're the one that's taking the checkered flag, as Kyle Kirkwood crosses the line with only 2 laps to go, it's going to be one of the most special moments of a driver's career.
James, I'm so glad you brought up the fans, because just in the one corner where we're standing and looking out in turn 7, there are thousands of people that have not moved for the last 3 hours. They have been here loyally, enthusiastically, watching in wonderment like we all have for many years with this sport. And for this American driver, Kyle Kirkwood, on probably the grandest stage outside of the Indy 500, to do it in his home country, what a feeling he must have in the cockpit right now.
We hold this truth to be self-evident. Isn't anybody in this championship who drives street courses quite like Kyle Kirkwood?
Thanks, freaking help, buddy.
This young American who started the week in New York City, lighting the Empire State Building red, white, and blue, has lit up this racetrack for 250 miles. This may be the only time that we ever race on the streets of Washington, D.C. What a celebration it has been of this championship, of this country, of everything that makes both of them great. And what a driver we have in Kyle Kirkwood to bring it home for a famous victory. There will only be one winner of the Freedom 250, and how fitting that it's Kyle Kirkwood. As the Secretary of Transportation waves the checkered flag, Kyle Kirkwood wins an American on the top step of the podium at the Freedom 250.
Thank you, Andretti. You guys are awesome in the pit today. Congrats, you guys deserve this one. Thank you so much. You carried us there on that last restart. That was incredible. Great job. Drove fantastic all day.
And how fitting that one of the greatest names in the history of American racing, Andretti, should also find its way to the top step of the podium. The perfect result, the perfect finish, no matter which way you look at it.
Crew Chief Scott Marks getting his customary traditional dumping of the cooler.
So many familiar faces on that team. James, you and I both drove for the great Andretti organization. They've worked very hard to get their cars to this point. Utterly dominant on the street courses this season. 7th career. And also a championship clawback for Kyle Kirkwood on a day when the untouchable Alex Palou suddenly looked very, very human and achievable for Kyle Kirkwood to close that gap.
It's not over, guys. 2 weeks remain of this championship. 3 races within those 2 weeks. And Kyle Kirkwood has clawed back 42 points in the championship. 42 in one afternoon. It's on. What a brilliant race, though. What a brilliant race. What memories that we will carry with us forever.
And not just us. Every single person that's on the grounds here, every single person watching at home on Fox. It was a heck of a show, a heck of a showing for Andretti Global 134.
And think about the way Kirkwood played this, with huge aggression on the start, going to the outside of Alex Palou, and then with huge touch at the end, and letting McLaughlin fire himself over the wall. Kirkwood, he's just being a total pro as he slows on the front stretch.
Come on, let's see some donuts, buddy.
Come on,
Yeah,
he is. He is.
Yeah!
Come on!
Light him up.
Well,
almost.
We'll work on that. We'll practice that one.
He's human too.
Absolutely. Actually, it's framed beautifully across the front straight.
Sponsors will love it.
Your bike just pulled up.
Oh no! That's all right. You don't need that anymore, pal. It did its point. It served its purpose.
Gearbox just blew up. Thank goodness it wasn't one lapper. Kirkwood winner. Guys, let's have a note as well for Christian Lundgaard. A battling race for him that comes home second. And for Will Power, a third podium in a row.
You got it,
I think it's not totally blown up.
No, I think you figured it out. What a day, guys. What a day for this young American.
And his teammate, Will Power, applauds him in. Jamie Little runs to talk to him. And the emotions will bubble out. Kyle Kirkwood is your winner of the Freedom 250.
Gotta work around.
And the helmet comes off. Kyle Kirkwood. This moment, absolute domination. As an American driver racing here on the streets of Washington, D.C., Kyle, put this moment in perspective for us.
You can't even put it into words. This is incredible. I'm almost in tears here. This is a big moment for us. Big moment for America here, the 250, right? Big moment for Andretti. Big moment for Sam's Club and Honda. These guys, they're the ones that gave me the equipment and this car right here to be out there, to go out there and perform. But man, that was a hard race. 147 laps. I'm out of breath right now trying to get words to you, if I'm being honest.
What was the moment like driving around here? I mean, the President of the United States, the First Lady standing right here watching you come to victory. I mean, put it in perspective, driving around this track and being here in this moment with your team.
It felt good to dominate out there, I'm not going to lie. That was a really good moment. I'm a fellow Florida guy. I live up in Jupiter, so it's cool to see him down here and right here in this race. What an incredible place to do it. You know, if you can't win at the 500, this is definitely the place to win. And I don't know if we're ever going to get another chance at this. I hope we do. I hope we do. This was awesome. But this was, what a dream come true.
Congratulations.
Sixth. And Christian Lundgaard gets his 6th podium of the season. Quite a drive from 9th to 2nd. How did you do that? And what did you make of this experience today?
I feel it's fitting that an American won, right? But no, we gave it our best shot. We did great. I feel like it's good to bounce back from last week in Markham, obviously starting up front and not quite executing. Just so happy. Awesome event. We got the Capitol in the background. This is only something you could dream of.
Congratulations. Well done. Christian Lundgaard finishes 2nd, Georgia.
Will Power is certainly laying down some stats right now. It's his 3rd podium in a row and his 3rd podium on new street courses this year alone, but you've really had to work for it. It's no secret that this weekend has been full of ups and downs, and you made something out of it. What really made the difference?
Yeah, good team, good car, good stop, strategy, made moves on the track. So awesome to see Kyle win this race. Marcus last week, 2 of us on the podium. It's such an epic event, man. Look back there. I just could never dream of being in a place like this, racing in a place like this when I started all those years ago in Toowoomba. So, yeah, stoked, man. Stoked. I really wanted to get on the podium. Obviously, a win would be phenomenal, but one of our team cars won. So we're coming, man. We're becoming the team to beat.
Hey, and Will Power's got 2 races left to do it this season. Well, 3 with the doubleheader in Milwaukee coming up next, guys. But how about that? You can feel the emotion down here.
Well, an incredibly happy podium after an absolutely brilliant day. What a joy, what an honor it has been to share this with you all. Kyle Kirkwood is the winner of the Freedom 250. Post-race is coming right up.
That was a very, very special 147 laps for that man, an American winning the Freedom 250 here in Washington, D.C. And for Carl Kirkwood, memories that he will never forget. For Brian Herter, who lives and breathes motorsport. He's done it in the car, he's done it out the car. And for the whole Andretti crew, for the Taurus group, they will remember today the pomp and ceremony and also the result. For Carl Kirkwood, he closes the gap in the championship, 91 points. There's a lot on offer next weekend. We have a double header live for you on Sky Sports from Milwaukee. We're back on the ovals. And don't forget, with a double header and 50 points plus per day, with 91 points, the gap between the first two, it's a big if. It's a huge if, because Palou just doesn't have off days like he's had today. I can, count them, maybe one or two in his IndyCar career, but if he has an off weekend next weekend and Kirkwood is on song, then this championship, and it is a big if, could still close right up before we go to Laguna Seca and the series finale. Well, thanks to everyone who has tuned in and got in touch on social media at Tom Gamer using the Sky IndyCar hashtag. It's been a monster marathon on air. There is still more to come from Washington, D.C. here with our Fox colleagues, but we will be live for both the races next weekend as well, from Milwaukee and then from Monterey, California, from Laguna Seca, as we crown a champion. Who's it gonna be? Can that man do the unthinkable, do the impossible, or will Alex Palou be on song? Well, the president enjoyed it, and alongside Roger Penske there, he'll be very proud of what the Penske Corporation have put together with Fox and delivered here in Washington, the Freedom 250.
They're really good on street courses, but when it's bumpy, they're even better. So I mentioned Eric Erickson before the race, and he finished 4th from 21st. What a strong team. What a strong performance by Kirkwood, though. Didn't put a wheel wrong, which tested a lot of drivers today, but he was perfect.
And Alex Palou came in as the favorite. Your reigning champ just had a rough afternoon and was not in the picture, tried to battle back. As you get a look at where we are in the district, among the National Mall and the Capitol building just behind us. How about the kind of race it was for others? And nice to see some people battling at the end, even though Kirkwood seemed to be in control.
Right, well, McLaughlin gave him a run for it at the end there and unfortunately put himself in the wall. And we did see that. At the beginning there were some cautions. It looked like maybe strategy was going to play a role. But that converged, and what really came through was that drivers had to stay clean and not make mistakes. We saw that there was mistakes by Malukas earlier, clipping the wall, putting himself out. We saw, as the boys said, Alex Palou was human today. He actually made some mistakes. So, look, it was a very exciting race. The drivers were incredibly tested, but Kirkwood was absolutely on point, didn't make a mistake. Yeah, Alex Palou had a rough day today. And what's great about this, though, is that it's going to make it exciting for the championship. Just a couple to go, and Kirkwood is the only one that can take it from him.
Yeah, Kirkwood closed to some 91 points. It was the largest lead with 4 races to go. There are 3 in the IndyCar season as Palou from pit problems to try to battle back. And just this event, and you heard him say, fitting that an American, as we take a look at the standings here, and again, this race counts just like all the others. So important, though, because it's the Freedom 250. And fitting that Kirkwood said, if you can't win the Indy 500, you want to win this race. So before we go any further and get to the podium, let's hear from Alex Palou.
Alex, you had a lot of things going on. I guess it's just like 3 things, 2 on pit lane and then on the track. What do you make of this day? Anything you could have done differently?
Yeah, a lot. We could have done a lot differently. I mean, it hurts, man. It hurts. It was one of those races that I really want to do very good. I wanted to get that win, so it kind of hurts a lot that we just had this bad of a day. But it's okay. Things happen. I'm at least kind of happy that everything happened at the same day instead of spreading out throughout different races. But yeah, we had some issues in pit lane, one my fault, one out of my control, something on the track that then I kind of bump a little bit the wall, and 20 laps after the rear toe link broke. That's why we spun. So yeah, not a good day, but it's all right. Things happen.
Still plus 91 though in the championship, looking for number 4 in a row in 5 in 6 years.
All right, thank you very much, and nice of him. There's the celebrating team. Kirkwood, by the way, this is his 7th career win. 6 of those have come on street courses. And we said on the pre-race show, you, Danica, along with Elio Castroneves, he was one of the drivers to watch, and obviously he showed that where he started up front.
Absolutely, and he showed us today at the second biggest race of the year, but my goodness, there was definitely some elements about the day that felt like it was one of the biggest. To see the flyovers that we had, the pre-race that we had, the President of the United States, which he is still here. I can see the beast out of the corner of my eye right here. So stayed for the whole thing. This was an exciting weekend, amazing, amazing track. And gosh, I hope we come back just like everybody else.
Yeah, you see the trophy. This is a once-in-a-lifetime trophy because there'll never be another 250 here. There might be more races in and around Washington, D.C. as you see the drivers gathering for the podium. And you mentioned it. I mean, the name Andretti, the Andretti Global Honda, but Andretti, this is a royalty in racing. And not only 2 of the 3 at the podium, but 3 of the top 4 finishers in this race. They were dialed in, and they have shown that throughout the course of handling new venues, especially street courses.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why the IndyCar Series is such an exciting series, because you get a mix of everything. You've got ovals, short ovals, street courses, permanent circuits, and it really tests the teams and tests the drivers. And what's really, really fun about IndyCar right now is that you don't know who's going to win. It's so competitive.
Announcing Kyle Kirkwood at the moment.
Here to present the Freedom 250 Grand Prix Winners Trophy is the chairman of the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, Penske Corporation President Bob Decker. And IndyCar President Doug Bowles.
What an incredible backdrop for the photos here. I think as a driver, you always love these memories for yourself, but I can't think of a better photo op at the top of a podium than the one that Kyle Kirkwood's going to get here with the Capitol in the background.
That's a podium and a pic that they'll remember forever, and the celebration.
We're right behind that, Chris. We're just right. I hope we don't get sprayed with champagne.
Yeah, we got to watch from turn 1, and a great call again by our guys in the booth. Obviously riding out the successful run of Kyle Kirkwood, but wondering and waiting and see who could challenge. And at different moments, different drivers tried, but in the end, he held on and really dominated this Freedom 250.
Dominated, and it's going to be exciting to see this end of the season and what kind of momentum is going to come from this to really try and take it to Alex Palou in this championship. Yes, he has a big gap to close, but as we saw today, you can make a big jump if the other guy has a bad day.
And I like it that Palou was aggressive in this race, as it seemed toward the end. You mentioned McLaughlin, just everybody kind of wanted a piece, a slice of history in this race, in this place, and they were going for it without hesitation.
Well, I think that the track was challenging too, and that's a good thing. As a series, as viewers watching, you want to see these drivers being tested. These are the best in the world, and you saw that this track did that. With apexes being at the wall, that caught out some drivers many times throughout the weekend. The bumps were a problem. The bumps made it really difficult, so I love when the track is challenging. I could think of a few more things as a driver to add on to make it more difficult, but if I was a driver out there, I would say, Danica, be quiet.
All right, the American Bald Eagle, and that's Lincoln, by the way, part of the ceremony and pageantry and patriotism for this unique, special IndyCar event. And I don't know if they're going to let Lincoln fly around or hand off to the winner of the race.
I wonder what kind of treats they use for this.
But boy, that is a proud stare from not only Lincoln, but from the drivers. You know, you finish in the top 3, you get that podium finish, and here we go.
seeing an eagle is always majestic whenever you're out in the wild and you see one. So to be up close like this here at celebration of 250 years of this country, winning the race and being able to have an eagle on your arm. Chris, another photo op coming up.
It represents freedom for that. Let's get your final thoughts as we wrap up this race, and soon 3 more, the IndyCar season. But it just shows you, despite the dominance of Alex Palou, the defending champion, how outstanding he's been, his career, and still rolling. A guy like Kyle Kirkwood can make a little history himself.
Well, I just think that overall the whole weekend was spectacular. The venue was amazing. The event was run so well. The race was incredible. Everybody seemed thrilled, and I have a feeling there are going to be a lot of people coming back to visit Washington, D.C. after this visit, because this is really a spectacular city. It is an honor to be a part of it. Thank you all so much. What an incredible day. Happy 250th, America.
All right, and next week, IndyCar will head to Milwaukee for a doubleheader of races. That starts Saturday at 2:30 Eastern. Coming up next on Fox, Live Golf from Indianapolis. A lot of fans watching there. Followed by preseason NFL football with the Seahawks taking on the Titans. That's at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. After an adventurous, exciting, and aggressive race, we thank you for watching a once-in-a-generation IndyCar America 250 experience live from our nation's capital. For our entire crew, for Kyle Kirkwood, American-born, living the American dream, wins on the 250th birthday of America, born to race and conquering the streets of D.C. Wherever you're watching, however you're watching, have a great week. Hope you enjoyed the race, the broadcast. Enjoy America.
Meet the fully electric Volvo EX60.